Hey guys, this is YGO Silence coming at you with a regionals recap of my experience in my local regionals. Um, my record was 3-3-1. We did 8 rounds of Swiss, but I ended up leaving after the seventh after I got my third loss, and I was pretty much guaranteed a spot that is not in the top 32. My matchups were 2 True Draco, 1 win, 1 loss. 1 True Dino, I won that one. 2 Zodiac, 1 draw and 1 loss. 1 Cyber Dragon, I lost, and 1 Blue Eyes, which I won. Cyber Dragon one, guys, I'm embarrassed. I'm sorry. It OTKs for days. He drew into beautiful hands. Limiter removal both times. I mean, there was nothing I could do. I would say the deck failed to perform in the Zodiac matchup as I thought it would. It just didn't offer the same grind game that the Zodiac engine provides, and I feel the loss was kind of stolen from me because somehow my Cabazals got walled out by freaking Ghost Dash set in defense mode during Heat Wave, but I'm not salty, it's fine. Strengths, I would say this deck offered a lot of surprise that just really did bring out the best in the deck, People didn't have any side decks that were really prepared for it, and honestly, the deck did have a ton of good control, where if I drew into stuff like, Heat Wave or Skill Drain, and it just really locked him out of a lot of stuff, and it was pretty much GG from there. The weaknesses, however, became very prevalent, in the True King and the Zodiac matches, and that this deck will not carry you. Alright, you cannot make misplays like you can with Zodiac or True King, and I'm not saying True King or Zodiac players are bad. What I'm saying is their deck is strong. Their deck is very effective at what it does, and I'm not saying this deck can compete with it. If you want to beat those players, it's not going to be, oh, my archetype's better than yours. It's going to be, I outplayed you. And so, to win with this deck, you can't be a slouch, all right? You have to actually know what you're doing, and you have to be able to outplay your opponent and see what they're doing. Now, that was... I feel the biggest problem, however, is the poor grind game and the enormous reliance that this deck places on the field spell. Far too often, I would get a good hand, I just didn't have the field spell. And the thing is, with the Zodiac players being able to just combo off from any Zodiac card they can normal summon, especially, with Mamole Rat or, Rat Pier, which is what it's called in the TCG, you can't really, the consistency is ridiculous. Whereas this, you kind of have to get a good hand to go off, and even when it goes off, it's more control-based. It's not going off. Now, I would, however, say there are some definite MVPs and some, lackluster performers in this deck. And I'm going to tell you some changes I would have made in my deck. Also, I don't think I mentioned this, but I could not actually play my Ignite Phantasm deck because Zexal did not actually come in the mail in time, so I was unable to play it. I still don't have it in the mail. I'm going to have to call the seller because it's still not here. But anyway, I ended up playing a straight Phantasm Spiral deck. It actually did work very well. I'm pretty proud of the 3-3-1, especially for my first regional. But here I'm going to talk about the cards that performed and the cards that did not. Let's start with the cards that did not. Abyss Dweller, I could have made it many a time. Never wanted to. It just didn't work out well. And then oddly enough, the board wipes really didn't do anything. They were there. They were in my hand. I cleared off some fodder every now and then, but it never really was like, oh, thank God I have this Dark Hole and Regeki in my hand. They never really just showed up, and I think that deck space could have been used better. Now, the cards that did show up. Toad was bae, alright? Toad really did carry me a lot. If you don't have anything, if you don't have a field spell, dropping Toad turn 1 with an unexpected die and then a normal monster it's a really good opening play. And, playing around Toad, it's not easy. So, it's something good you could drop down. Hope Harbinger actually won me the Blue Eyes matchup. He had me locked down. I managed to go off and get 2 Phantasm Spiral Dragons out, and then I put him on after I did the damage. And he's like, well, dang, I can't board wipe you now. And it saved my butt. Really did help me out. Next, I'm actually really excited about this. Right before I went in, I actually got the Utopia engine. So I've managed to get Lightning. And so Lightning actually allowed me to run over a very big Dryden. I baited the pop, and then I went at him with Lightning, and then, he couldn't get over me. Very effective, really awesome card. Love Lightning. Next, I would say, it's a toss-up between these next two cards, the best card in the deck. Heat Wave, my goodness. This card just really showed up. Every single time I played it, it did something. My opponent couldn't do anything. It was pretty much a free turn, That card is almost, I would almost say a free draw one and plus a free normal summon, because your opponent can't really do anything. It's just free everything. It's like, here, skip your turn. You're not doing anything. All right. Next, number one card in the deck, hey, I'm going to just go ahead and say it. Pacifist. Pacifist is so good. It really just did a lot of good work for me today. Guys, I don't know if you could tell, but I'm actually really tired and it's late. But Pacifist did a lot of good work. Every time I had it out, I got to go off. People, they're like, they saw this deck and the only thing that could really side against me was Twin Twisters. And, not a lot of people running a lot of back row right now because, Paleozoic's kind of not in the meta right now. So not a lot of people were running that. Also, Ghost Ogre, very, very solid card. I actually got a lot of use out of it. It did a lot of good stuff. Pop and diagram, not allowing him to go off on plays. One dude tried to pop, or he popped his Ram with his Dryden, and so I destroyed the Dryden, and it was kind of nice to just get that off the field. So that was good. Now, some changes I would make in the deck. The deck performed, honestly, overall pretty well. It's pretty much the deck I used was my Phantasm Spiral Dragon, just the straight one I did, with very minor changes. Like, I put in Fossil Dig, and that was pretty much it. And I didn't put any Tyrant's Throws in. But the changes I would make, I would, like I said earlier, I would have pulled the board wipes for a Kaiju engine. 2 Gamma Seal, 1 Godarla, one of the big, Thunder 3300 beater one, and then 2 Unexpected Kaiju Slumbers. And those are considered board wipes, but they offer more than just a board wipe. And then also, I actually have been considering, and I still think this is probably a good idea, find a way to put set rotation and then some generic field spell like Seal of Orichalcos or something in the deck, because you want to see this field spell every single time you draw into it. I mean, you want to see it in your opening hand every time, and if you don't, it's almost a loss, and I feel like this problem is what weakens the archetype, in that the field spell carries it so much. It's not like True Kings, where you could play without diagram, or it's not like, ABCs, where, yeah, Union Hanger helps a ton, but you could still play ABCs without it on the field. It's not dead. This deck is dead almost without, Pacifist out. So I think just being able to see it as much as humanly possible. Don't get me wrong, guys. I love this deck. This is my favorite deck. This is probably my most competitive deck. Highly recommend it. It's super cheap, Definitely build it. But doing this tournament, playing against the meta, a lot of good players, a lot of very skilled players. And I got the opportunity to actually play the guy who won the whole thing. And it's just, I would say that this really opened my eyes to a lot of the skilled players out there, and that, yeah, you could win without playing meta, but it's a lot harder. And so you got to be able to play smart, guys. So if I would say take anything away from this, definitely build this deck. Definitely play it a lot at your locals. Heck, you could even take it to a regional. But, man, I got to do some tinkering with this if I want to make this good. But I fully intend to make this good and beat some people. Alright, but anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you next time.